Some breaking news on that front now. We understand, based on NBC News reporting, that a federal judge has now unsealed a possible suicide note written by Epstein. I want to bring in now our national security correspondent, Tom Winter, who is joining us. And it appears as though this is just into us from this federal judge. Tom, what do we know?
Right. So what happened here, and let's just get right to the note. We'll explain the backstory. This note was apparently found, allegedly found, by an inmate of Jeffrey Epstein after the first possible Epstein suicide attempt. Remember, in July, prior to his actual suicide, he was found semi-conscious in his cell with marks around his neck. The inmate at the time, Nicholas Tartaglione, we'll get to him in a moment, said that this note was left behind. There are parts of it that are difficult to read. The beginning appears to be quite clear. They investigated for a month, something like that, found nothing, couple exclamation marks. So 15-year-old charges, it's resolved or something there.
Yeah.
It is and then the next part of it's tough to read. The last part of it is clearly not difficult to read. No fun, underlined, not worth it, 2 exclamation marks. The thing that makes this a little bit interesting here, Hallie, from a standpoint of confirming this note, there was another note that 60 Minutes was able to obtain that was, they say, was found in Epstein's cell after he died of suicide. He writes at the end of that note, no fun, and it appears to have, to me at least, cursory look, the same handwriting. Now, we don't know, what makes that different, I should say, is that Epstein was the only one in the cell at the time. Does that mean that somebody else hadn't planted it before or afterwards? And about 85 other conspiracy theories we could talk to midnight tonight. However, this letter did come out today, a judge's order. There was a reference to it, and a reference, frankly, to some of our reporting about this first possible suicide attempt. Included in the Epstein files is a log of various things that came up and events surrounding Jeffrey Epstein in the Bureau of Prisons. Credit to the New York Times, who seized on this line, that there was a suggestion that this letter existed. In Tartaglione apparently talked about it on a podcast about the existence of it in some of its contents. It had been held with his attorneys. It was considered attorney-client privilege material at the time, but obviously once he started talking about it, everybody came to the same agreement, including obviously the judge, Judge Karras in the Southern District of New York, saying, look, he's talked about it. The attorney-client privilege is gone. And in a ruling posted just moments ago, before this letter was docketed by the clerk, ordered its unsealing, saying that there's no reason to keep it sealed because there's no reason for attorney-client privilege, something that Tartaglione apparently had with his attorney. So this letter has now become public. It has not ever been corroborated or authenticated or assigned to Jeffrey Epstein by any investigator anywhere at any time. So that's another component of this. Tartaglione, you might wonder what's up with him. He was a former police officer in Briarcliff Manor, New York, and Epstein's cellmate at the time of that first attempt, as I mentioned, in July of 2019. He had been arrested in December 2016, accused of killing 4 men in an alleged cocaine distribution conspiracy and then burying their bodies in his yard in New York State. He was later convicted, and he's serving 4 life sentences. So that's the backstory on him. But again, a lot more questions on this. The judge ordering its unsealing. And, you know, the no fun thing sticks out to me. Obviously, it's a little bit difficult to understand the rest of the handwriting. More reporting to be done, as always, Hallie.
Tom, I'm going to keep you for 1 second. You referenced that podcast clip that was an important part of this unsealing here, and we're going to keep Tom with us here. We have that, and I want to play it for folks here, that short clip from Tartaglione. Here it is.
Yes, he said, it said something like FBI, looked into me for months and found nothing. Then he wrote, what do you want me to do? Cry about it? And it was weird because he wrote a smiley face. And then he wrote, time to say goodbye. And my lawyers at the time wanted to make sure, I didn't write it or all this stuff, so they had handwriting experts look at it and everything. And it was eerily similar to the second suicide note I think they found the second time. And no one was in the cell with him that time. But the suicide.
Because he put it in your book, right? Is that right?
It was in my book. Yeah, when I got back into the cell, I opened my book to read, and there it was. And he.
So, Tom, to the point that you were making, and I think we still have Tom with us. There he is. This was and you heard Tartaglione reference the second time. This is the possible suicide note left during that incident where he was injured but survived. Can I ask you, though, because I think one of the questions, Tom, is why this wasn't released in the Epstein documents that the Department of Justice released, because there's a question on whether the Justice Department even had this in their possession. The Times has suggested, and you give, I think, proper credit to them for being on the front end of this piece of it, suggested that the DOJ didn't have this in their possession.
That's exactly right. That's an important thing for people to remember. This letter was being held by Tartaglione's attorneys because he had turned it over to them. And because he turned it over to his attorneys, this is something that would be protected, of course, by attorney-client privilege. And so there were some additional hearings, without going into too much detail on what had been a little bit of a lengthy back and forth with the court, about some of the things that Tartaglione had said in some comments he had made to his attorneys. Once he does that podcast, though, so I can talk to my attorney about anything as far as it pertains to requesting legal advice. I can't ask that attorney to commit further crimes so that that attorney can help me out. But I certainly the contents of those communications cannot be shared with anybody else unless I start talking about it publicly, in which case that privilege is off. And that's why this came out, and that's why the judge found that the attorney should provide this letter to the court. That's what happened here. That's now why it's been made public.
Tom Winter, scrambling to us here with that breaking news coming into us. Tom, thank you very much, and for the clear breakdown of what we do and don't know. I really appreciate you being with us, and I'm sure we'll talk again soon. More to come on this front. Appreciate that, pal.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.